Okay, so we'll get started. So thanks everyone for joining us today. Mark Reedy is my name, and I'm just wondering, can I show my camera? Cannot see that, but anyway, never mind. Okay, so we'll get going on things here. So this is the Accelerator product. It's the Accelerator for Sage CRM, so we'll jump right into it. So what we're going to run through today is we're basically going to answer the question, what is Accelerator, essentially? We'll go through the benefits from a partner point of view and a customer also. We're going to give you a demo of the product, so we'll walk through some of the features of the product and try and explain, link them to the benefits, I guess. And then I'll just show you briefly who we are. You may have seen that earlier on the Mobile X demo. And then we'll show you some resources and mention about licensing as well. So what is Accelerator? Well, primarily it's an Outlook integration, and it's deeply embedded and built on Sage CRM itself. Sage CRM does come with an Outlook integration, which allows you to save emails. And of course, Accelerator allows you to do that as well. But it's much more than just saving an email. It's really about an ability for your customers, for the end users, to actually see the benefits of CRM and actually feel CRM in their daily work, in their daily business. It also comes with a client mail merge tool. I'm not going to cover that today, which allows you to do mail merge documents, and you can automate a lot of features around mail merging single documents and attaching them to emails. At the moment, the system does require the Windows Outlook client. And at the moment, we are basically working on the integration with the Office 365 API, which will allow you to deploy it slightly differently. And we've actually done some work on that already in the Mobile X product, but it will be coming in the Accelerator because it very much is an Outlook integration. So that will be coming out this summer. And the screenshot here, you can actually see one of the new features that we just actually introduced, which is the ability to code in really custom pages, ASP custom pages into the system, so you can really extend the system. And this example screenshot here, which I will show you in the demo, is showing you some sample ERP data. So what are the benefits of Accelerator? Well, from a consumer point of view, and also from a partner point of view, it improves user adoption. Typically, you will see a lot of CRM, and this isn't the Sage CRM thing, but a lot of CRM projects have a big plan around them. They get launched after 6 months or a year, even longer, and they fall flat on their face. No one uses the system, or maybe one person uses the system, or it requires that people are coerced and made use the system, and it doesn't feel natural, and they basically, there's a bad feeling and bad data goes in, and it's really, the data quality is pretty poor, and those projects invariably fail. They fail silently, as I've often said. They never quite explode spectacularly. They do fail silently, but that's what happens. And with Accelerator having a deep integration with Microsoft Outlook, from the point of view of selling the system, the person who you're demonstrating the system to, they're familiar with Outlook. They get it. And CRM just feels like an extension of Microsoft Outlook. So it does help improve user adoption, and it makes them see the benefits of having a CRM system and a CRM strategy. And if I hark back to Danny's presentation earlier about getting in with the kind of simple mode of contact management, or maybe sales and services, but doing it simply, the land expand. With Accelerator, then it really helps that strategy, because the users are using it, data is going in, and as I said, people can see the benefits of CRM, and the data quality also improves. So from a reseller point of view, it is easier. It does make it easier to sell Sage CRM. And in fact, one story from one of our partners, well, actually from Ralph, was that he did a 2-hour presentation, and at the end he demonstrated Accelerator, and the prospect said, well, why didn't you just show me that at the start? We would have just had a deal. So, I think that says a lot, So the better adoption, again, from users, they start to see CRM as a platform, and they think, well, what else can we do with this, And that it means you're going to be getting them asking you for more as a partner for more customizations, and having more reliance on CRM, because that's where the data is going to live and be reported on. So I'm gonna jump into a demo rather than just do PowerPoint, and we're going to just show you how filing an email, searching for a company or an entity, filing against that, creating new entities like opportunities or even companies based on email data. We're going to show you a thing we call tagging, which allows you to give emails a context. And we're going to speak about the extending of CRM, how you can build in those custom pages, and we'll show you that example too. And then when you're composing a new email window, we'll show you how you can bring Sage CRM email templates and the email and the documents in Sage CRM into your Outlook. So it's this deeply embedded CRM experience within your Microsoft Outlook window. So if I jump into our demo. So what you can see here is when Accelerator is installed, you'll see the Accelerator tab appearing here in the My CRM area. And one of the more recent additions we have is your Accelerator statistics, and it'll show you basically for today or for yesterday, last week, how busy you've been and what you've been filing into the system. So at a glance, you can go in and see actually how active you've been with the Accelerator product. Once the client is installed, you'll see it here. It appears up here on the actual window. It appears here on the window, and there's also now a tab here as well, the CRM Together tab, which holds the settings area. So in this example, then I've got an email. It's saying noise from a car. I'm going to click on the Accelerator option, and when it opens up the first time, it'll basically look up. It'll take the email address from this particular one and match it to this company or person. In fact, it found the person in this instance. So you can see then that the email address here matches the email address that belongs to this particular person here, which of course happens to be me. But that's how it's mapped at the moment. And you can see then what we have here is what we call a task pane. And this area here is in fact a web screen. It's a CRM screen, and you can see we display also the current user that you're logged in as in the system. It doesn't prompt you to log in. It stores the login details in the settings. We don't need to cover the settings today, but that's in the system also. So, and you can see then as well then the structure should be fairly familiar in that you've got essentially your tabs are here. So if I actually just click on some of those items there, this is our case list. We've got our opportunity list. We can even see our last few communications, for example. And so I can see straight away if I've already got an existing opportunity or an existing case, for example. So in this instance, I'm basically saying I haven't got a case. What I might do is I'm just going to create a case. So I'm going to go new case. It's going to bring up my new case screen, and this is a screen in CRM, so you can customize this screen. And you can see it puts in then the company name, the person's name, it puts in the subject as the description, the problem details, and you can then fill in whatever details you want on the screen, click save, and straight away you've created a case, and it's going to bring you into that case. So the advantage there is that it's easy. Your email all of a sudden is translated into a case in the CRM system. So it's very easy to get that data into CRM rather than making users make a judgment. Do I cut and paste? Do I go into the CRM system separately? Do I search for that person? Do I click new case, copy and paste the details in? We're removing all of that and making it easy to get that data into CRM. So of course I can save the email, and you can see that it's going to be saved against this particular case because I'm in that context. The case is what the context is here, and you can see that case is available within this area here. And it puts in then the subject line and the actual the details of the body. I can attach the email as a file, and if there are any attachments, and I'll show you a demo with attachments in a little while. If there's any attachments, it'll show those attachments also. So once I do that, I can click File. You'll see then once I file the email, you can see then I've actually got some details in here as well about it. So in fact, one of the things I haven't put in here actually, is these user-defined fields. So I can see it was filed to this noise from car. So the entity was what? My cases. So I can see, even if I want to in my Outlook, I can see exactly where it was filed against. It was filed against the case, and this is the case here. But really, what I want to do is actually I want to tag this email. Okay. So what I want to do is click Options, Tag the email. And what that does is it puts in the actual tag down here on the bottom of the actual email itself. And by putting that tag in, you can see this yellow line appears over here on the side, showing you here. This tells you it's a tagged email. So you can tag it against any entity you wish. And it means that when I change the email, so I change the email, it's going to look up again based on the email. If I change back to this email, it's going to now, instead of showing my details, the person summary, it's going to bring up the actual case, because this particular email has a context. And this makes it easy in future to file the email. I don't necessarily even have to have the window open here. When I send an email, it's going to prompt me to file it against that particular case, because that's the context. That's what we're talking about in this instance. I can also then click on the options and click phone. I've got my options, phone in or phone out. So I'm going to do phone out. So I'm going to say called, and they want an engineer. I click save, and that saves it as a phone out item. But let's say I want to actually go and look at that details. You might think, oh, well, I have to go into the CRM. You don't, because what you can actually do is if you click on any of these text links, they'll open up in full CRM. These links, these buttons, I should say, these images, they'll always open in the task pane area. However, when I click on an actual text link, it'll actually bring me into full CRM and into that particular entity. Now I can start going through my workflow and saying, okay, Q. I'm going to say I'm investigating this. And I'm going through workflow. And so CRM, you can see now CRM just feels like a part of Outlook. It really just feels natural. It's a part of Outlook. And I'm just using CRM and Outlook. It just feels the same. It's like one system. And this is what I mean by when we come down to user adoption. You're trying to make it as seamless as possible for the end user, for their experience also. Of course, if I want, I can navigate in this area here. So if, for example, I decided maybe someone sent me an email about a few things, I can go into the actual company summary here, and I can click on opportunity list, and I might say, well, I want to file this against the opportunity for whatever reason. I can actually do that. So you can now see that it's going to show me opportunity, and there's the opportunity details. I just click file. It's going to file against the opportunity. You can see a change where it's filed against there. Now, if I look at the communications, you'll be able to see the email in. These are screens as well, so you can customize these if you want to show the details. So you can see then very easily that it's easy to get that information into the system itself. I can search for different entities as well. So if I search on DES, you can see I get all these particular companies. If I want Desktop Advantage, I just double click on those. I can click Save Email. It's going to save it against Desktop Advantage. So I can save emails against several different companies if I wish. It's very easy. And again, I can just go into Desktop Advantage if I want. It brings me straight into that particular entity there as well. As I mentioned, the tabs we have across the top, we've got the cases, the opportunity lists, communications. You've got a people list as well, so you can see a list of the people. And if you click on any of the icons, it brings you in to that particular summary screen here. And you can, of course, I think if you saw the Mobile X feature earlier, you can bookmark entities here as well. So this particular email, another example I'm going to give you is where you want to create a new entity. So I can't always have a new entity ready, but what I can do is show you this particular email. So someone has sent me an email in with just an email address, okay? And what we can do is we can go to our options and go parse search. And what that does is it reads the email to see what email addresses are in here. If there was more than one, it would present you with a screen to select an email address from. But in this case, it just found one. And what it's done is it's treated this as if it's the new one. And it's actually filled in all the details here. So we've got the company name from the domain. It's got the website, first name, last name. And I can click save. And that creates a company and person in the system. And again, we're just making it easy for users to actually get that information into CRM and remove that kind of judgment. Well, do I want to do this extra work? Is there really any value? You can just get that data in, or you could, of course, prompted it to create a new lead, for example, also. And you can see it'll put in the lead details as well. But it's up to you how you want to use that. If I select an email which has an attachment, I can, as I mentioned, save the email. I can also then add the attachments here. And when you add the attachments, one of the options you can have, if you have it turned on, is you can have it that it will set, you can have communications and document screens. So it'll actually set the attachments to be of type, whatever the type is that you select. And you can select which attachments. It'll list all the attachments. If the attachments are under a certain size, it will filter, it can filter them out. So you need to specify what size. Maybe it's 20 kilobytes, and under 20 kilobytes isn't checked by default. And that would be things like, images in signatures and things like that that are kind of annoying. And you can have those there as well. And you can also then, as I said, you can customize what other options are set against communications. You can't even attach the email as a file itself. It'll save it as an MSG file in the system. So I'll file that, and then I go into my record here. And if I change my filter, we save everything as complete. I should have mentioned that. And there's our recycle one there. And you can see then we've got the file saved as an MSG file, and also then our sample document. So you can see then how kind of comprehensive you can be in terms of your communications and your contact management with the system. When you're composing a new email, then you've got a few different options here. You can use CRM as an address book if you wish. So we created Luke, I think, earlier. Luke Walker, Palpatine. And I can double click him, and he's added in there to the to address. I can add in shared documents. So I can just select the document and it'll download and attach it. And these are shared documents from within CRM itself. So what you would be doing here is saying that this is my central source of documents. These are the documents that customers get, or partners get, or whatever it may be. And this is the source of our single source of truth. You can also use email templates, and you can actually have it merged. So if I actually open the Accelerator window and we look for Luke here, we could do get a template and merge. It'll give us a list of templates. These are email templates from within Sage CRM itself. And I'll just select this company welcome one. To overwrite the email contents. So can't send it as the person, whoever that was. But you can see what it did there was it's saying, hi Luke, welcome to the company, and it basically merged the actual data. If I got the same template without merging the data, it'll illustrate this perhaps better. And you can see then it's going to do a merge on the actual context that we're there. And what this does is it allows you to standardize the actual language, the customer language. So the email they get on the Monday is the same as the one they get on the Friday. And it doesn't really depend on how the person feels. If they have to remember, they forget. You can build up comprehensive email templates so that the company voice is heard, and that it allows the company to define how the interactions start, or at least to some level. And it removes a reliance on people remembering things on any given day. So especially useful for company introductions, that if you can find a formula that works, you can standardize it, create an email template, and use that going forward. And then your options are, of course, you can send and file or prompt and send. So if I prompt and send, it's going to show you the screen to say that's against person. This is the guy, Luke. I can add the attachments if I wish, and then I can just send it and file it. And that sends it and files it against that particular company. Oops, we got a bounce there. Oops. So that's a pretty quick tour of the accelerator. Actually, just one thing I did think I missed was, yeah, the ability to view your bookmarks and your history. The history, if you read this earlier, your history is kind of like an area that where it doesn't go away. So you like a recent list effectively. So your recent list, you can store the last 5, 10, 15 items. Your history stays with you all the time, and you can filter on date and go back on different days and see who you looked at on that day. And that works with Accelerator and Mobile X. So the extensions, actually, I haven't run through. I'm just going to show you these now. You saw them in the image earlier. So one of the new things that we've put in is the ability to actually put in custom screens in the system. And this example that we ship, and this is just an example, but we ship this source code with this, where it's integrated with Sage 300, and it'll query the Sage 300 data, and it'll actually even show you then a comparison grid with the number of orders this year versus last year, for example, and invoice amounts this year versus last year. So just to show you kind of the level of integration that you can actually now extend the system to put in. And we also have then like a locations where it'll list all of the addresses that a particular company has. And if you click on that, it opens up Google Maps and passes in the data. And again, these are just examples of how the system can be extended now to integrate with the different ERP systems that exist, and even other third-party ERP systems as well, and present all the data right from within Microsoft Outlook using Accelerator. I think this is a really powerful new feature that we have. Okay. So licensing wise, what we're talking about then is it's same as Mobile X really. It's per seat, and the number of seats do not have to match the Sage CRM seat count, because you do have power users of Sage CRM. Then you have like the boss who looks at it the odd time, or maybe just for reports. So you can pick and choose and map users in terms of the licensing. As you can see, regarding pricing, you just contact us with the pricing. We have regional currencies supported, so you just need to let us know what your region is, what your currency is. Just briefly then, who we are. So this is Magella on the left. It's me in the center there, and then we have Ralph Garte, and he's from our distributor in Germany. So if you want to know more from Ralph, you can certainly give him a shout, or we'll give you his details. We are going to be in the social lounge now, myself and Magella. And I'll actually, before we go though, I will check some questions for you. Actually, there are some questions here, so I'll just run through those as well. Okay, so does Accelerator, okay, here's one from Marco. Does Accelerator also work with custom primary entries such as project contact tracks events? Yes, it does. And I actually had a demo set up with a custom entity in the previous version of the demo system, and I just never put it back into this version. But yes, that is supported, and it is actually mentioned in the online help. So it's yeah, there's different things you can do there, but that is possible to file emails against those entities. Yeah, the green puzzle piece from Arlene. Yeah, that was the Sage 300 example integration, as I'm sure you saw. Why would people choose to attach the email as a file? What's the benefit of that? Well, if you want to store the email, sometimes emails, you know the way they're constructed, they may have several things embedded in them, and images and documents and everything. The advantage of that is that it's stored in the native MSG format. So sometimes you will want, maybe in legal cases, you may just want to save that particular full file, because if you save it as a file, it'll actually save the header information. So essentially, when you're saving it in CRM, you're making a copy of it, and it wouldn't have the header information, for example. So I would say if you're in a legal area, you may want to save the MSG file in certain cases. Okay. One question from Jamie is, how do you integrate with ERP, web API or SQL? Well, you can do any of those really. The example that we show you there, the Sage 300 example, is basically written using the Sage CRM ASP page. The same as you would, that page could appear, in fact, within Sage CRM itself, if you so wish. So you could, in essence, write that page there. The only thing you have to bear in mind with is the kind of real estate you have. You effectively have a mobile phone kind of size area that you want to display the information. And that's the only thing you really want to bear in mind. But you could plug in, in theory, if you can map the users, the actual, or the company, I should say, you could plug it into any ERP system or any data warehouse, even if you wished. Once you could do the mappings, and once you're happy around the security of that, then you could potentially do that. Rob is asking, when you click the link and it opens a new tab for CRM, does that override the previous CRM connection, or is it opening multiple connections? So when you're opening Rob, when you're opening one of those links, it opens up a new window. In fact, so you should, in practice, close those windows after you've finished acting. It's not a new connection because Sage CRM won't allow you. Essentially, we do log into Sage CRM, so there is a SID in the background there, and that's how we can open those links. As I said, it's deep integration with CRM, but it does open a new tab, and in practice, you should actually close those tabs. And that's typically what we would run through with training, is that when you do open it in CRM, you provide your action, then just close that window, because you could have several windows open at the same time then. So there's a question here from Edwin. On Accelerator, where can you communicate within or outside the company? I'm not really sure what you mean by that in terms of communicate within the company. There's no kind of chat feature, if that's what you mean. I'm not really quite sure what you mean there, Edwin. Apologies for that. So yeah, look, if that's it, then finally I'll just point at some resources then here. Obviously our website, we've got some open source as well that might be of interest, in a couple of other products that are available. The online help for Accelerator is accelerator.crmtogether.com. And our Vimeo video channel is there as well, with a lot of videos there. And we'll probably get some of these up there on a customer portal there as well. So if you're a partner and you're reselling with us, and you can log into the customer portal, download the software, you can see all your customers with us, things like that. Actually, there's another question in from Matthew. Does that mean it kills your current CRM session if you're using it in Outlook? No, it doesn't actually. So in terms of the session, so if you log into CRM in a normal window, in a normal CRM window, that's its own session. And then when you log in via Accelerator, essentially it logs in via the web services, and it gets its own session. But it's still only one license in terms of like concurrent licensing is something that's still been used. And when those windows open, then it'll open up using that particular SID in terms of security. And when you close that window, it won't auto log out the session. So when you start Outlook up, it'll log into CRM using the web service session. Okay, I think that's it then. And yeah, firstly, finally, thanks to Danny and the team at Cumulus, and David and Jeff at Sage, and all the other presenters that took part today. I think it was good fun, and yeah, we hope this is useful, and we look forward to working with you in the future. So best luck and enjoy the rest of the presentations. What's left.